Hello and welcome back. We have a fantastic episode today. We are joined again with Leanne. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
This is the Demand Drivers podcast and we are talking about strategic partnerships. So I think today I'm going to ask Chris to kick off.
Right.
Talk us through your perception of strategic partnerships.
Yes, well, if everyone thinks back to one of the episodes we did in the past, is we talked about that marketing can be fragmented a little bit. Yep. And I think that this sort of ties into that, which is how to build strategic partnerships. So, and the reason why I brought that up is because we do this in marketing, right? Like we all do this. We all have our specialty areas and we sort of discuss and complement each other. For example, Mike's team will build a website and then I'll write the copy and we have Kristen design it and so forth. And so I think that one of the most tapped resources in business today is the strategic partnership because it does drive demand, especially complementary, but not always complementary. Sometimes it can be, what do you call it, substitutional, which is your competitors. Sometimes there's overfill and all this sort of thing. So I think this episode, let's address this whole like getting together with other businesses, finding niches together and finding complementary sections to drive more demand rather than just constantly pumping out ads. I mean, what do you guys think about?
Well, look, it's to us, strategic partnerships means you're trying to fill something that you are not able to supply to the market, and you're doing it with people that can complement your business. Bingo. Basically. One of the key aspects that we look for when we enter into strategic partnerships is we look at making sure that we're doing it with businesses that have the same target audience as us. It's a big tick. Yep. And also for us is to have the same cultural mindset in terms of...
That's the one.
So big cultural tick, but then the value proposition that we give to our customers is very, very similar. We find if we get those right, then we can actually start talking about, what it is we're going to deliver at the coalface. But big tick on culture and the way that you approach business.
Why do you say that, Kristen? No, but like, why do you say that so that everyone can understand why we're harping on about this?
So why is
the cultural fit so incredibly important?
I think it's because it's fundamentally how we operate our own business. Culture is at the forefront of the way that we do it, and we like to work with other businesses that operate similarly to us. And if we come across issues in the way that other businesses service their clients, and they tend to be cultural issues, then it just doesn't work. Yep. We can't.
You have to trust them.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think
I think so. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, it's absolute trust. It's trust.
And I think too, sorry to interrupt, but I think from the cultural aspect, which is absolutely pertinent for sure, is that not only is it the same values, but also you are partnering with someone that is an advocate for your business and your brand, someone that is representing you and you're representing them. And it also the congruency of business and the sales and the marketing is so it just flows. So there isn't any incongruence which for the customer to go, okay, now I'm working with this person and now I'm working with that person. It's actually collective, and it makes everything seem a lot more streamlined. It's more effective. It's better for the customer again, which is number one, the client, but also the great representatives for us and our businesses.
I think with that too, that in terms of the relationship and the customer, you're nurturing the customer, and hopefully those businesses, they're very complementary in terms of their services that extends what you do. So you're providing an overall better service and better experience for the customer. But overall, you're controlling also the customer's interactions. They're not going to other places and other people that you're not in control of and aware of what they're going to be offering. So in terms of, I know with us, in terms of our services, it's very complementary because we know that we can sort of pass a client along and you know that they're going to be sort of looked after at each step. Whereas if they go off and do their own thing, then you're talking to other people and they're throwing in a whole exactly.
Yeah, and it can really throw like your service off as well. And I like for everyone listening, I don't want people thinking you're being selfish or safeguarding. What it is it's like controlling the service that they get from a customer. And so
and
like,
the quality.
Okay,
the quality.
And so everyone listening and watching is think about where you want to like partner strategically, because it's like it's not just drawing customers in, it's drawing customers together, and I feel like that's a really good way to get synergy.
It'd probably be good to share a few examples and stuff. I mean, we know it around different industries, and certainly from a marketing and sales aspect, it's a very natural synergy for us all to be sort of working together. But there's a lot of other industries that can benefit by having strategic partnerships. You think about things like real estate, for instance, with mortgage brokers.
No, look, I think one of the key things for us, I think you touched on before, and when you're nurturing a customer through, you want to make sure that whoever you're partnering with provides the similar service or product, and it's got definitely the same commonality in terms of minimum standards. So if a client contacts you, it's immediacy of response. They will service it the same way, but also you've got to have the confidence and the trust in what Chris was saying around that whoever you're partnering with is not going to start doing scope creep or pushing you out or suggesting somebody else or suggesting new directions. So there's a lot of that that's needs to be on the whole as just being, okay, I trust that I work with these people. So spend a lot of time getting to know your strategic partner or potential strategic partner. Observe what they do in the market, observe what clients they actually are servicing and whether they're similar clients to what you're doing, and make sure that whilst you can give complementary services, you haven't got too much overlap in what you do is what I would definitely recommend.
No, I agree. And the one thing I look at is, I know this sounds silly, but I'm an expert in a certain area within sales, certainly not in marketing. So we are good at doing a certain part. To provide the best service or the best product for my clients and my customers, what else can I do for them? And that is finding other people with their expertise that matches my expertise to just have, as Chris and I were talking about today, what I call the orbit of genius, and having
it was
the
a real
best.
love fest.
It was, and we're talking about all this stuff.
An orbit of genius.
The orbit of genius, and it's how people come into your world that you allow, and doing the due diligence and trusting, that can provide the best outcome and the best product and solve the problem for your customers and for your clients. And that's really important.
And so I just think that, like, if you want to get out there and drive more demand, and it's not always through advertising, it could be networking and so forth, it really comes down to finding those strategic partnerships it's really, I find it fascinating because there's so many different complementary businesses, and don't just think about cliche. Like if you're a plumber, don't just go, well, I need a concreter. Because a lot of the times it can be the plumber might connect with, like the electrician, or even more abstract, it could be the lawyer. And you just think, oh, how do they get together? But a lot of the times those kind of synergies can really work. And it's because, it might be when the person first moves in and the lawyer does all the conveyancing around the property, and then the plumber comes in to do all the plumbing. Like you can't just think what's right next to my business. Sometimes those networks, and that's why these networking things like BNI and Carve and all those things really work.
So you just talked about the orbit of genius then.
Oh, did I stumble across
it's exactly right. All those people you just mentioned in the orbit of genius.
But that's what I'm saying. It's driving demand doesn't mean finding the business next door.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things there. One is your own service extension, which is what we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast, where we were saying, okay, I don't provide this service or I don't provide that product to somebody complementary so I can provide a full range of service to the customer. So that's one aspect. The other is that you're talking, I think there, Chris, where you're actually saying, look at the customer journey.
Good one, actually, yes.
And then understand what journey they come to, whether they come after you or before you, and see whether there's strategic partnerships that you can make or enter into that mean that actually you can step a couple of steps earlier in the customer journey and capture that customer. So the plumber might speak to the architect.
Yes, there we go.
So then all of a sudden they're out, to use your analogy, you're out courting a lot of architects. So you're creating strategic partnerships with them so that when the architect is designing something, they're going to need plumbing in it. But doing them and making, and so if you're a fantastic plumber out there, convincing the architect that the service you offer will actually make their business
That's
good.
it. That's the secret.
You've really got to, you can't just turn up to an architect and say, hey mate, I'm a great plumber.
love me.
Why don't you feed me work? Because that doesn't work.
No.
If you're entering to a strategic partnership, the ones that we find work best, or the one that was observed work best, is where both parties have some value to offer in the relationship, and that's what makes it work. So the plumber has to be able to offer value back.
Yep.
Now, I would suggest, without getting into the detail, that it's in this instance, it's about the capability of the work they're going to offer and the service provision, so that the architect actually looks really good.
And that comes back to the trust.
Yeah, it does.
I think the other key thing to just to think about with partnerships is the importance of them and why they're such a good tool for marketing. And the key there being leverage. So when you're working with a partner, that partner is then creating opportunities for you for not just one. You're not building a relationship for one potential sale, one potential new customer. That partnership with that one relationship could lead to tens of hundreds of different client opportunities and sales for future. So as a marketing tool, partnerships are extremely powerful. And we look at it as building those assets, those core marketing assets that then work for you, not just today, but for months and years to come.
Because that's that other dimension. A third point, I think, where you're actually boosting your brand. You're boosting your brand awareness, really, aren't you? So if you think in a digital space, if I'm pushing out content, and it's in strategic partnership, say with Melotti Media, all of a sudden I've pushed out the content, it's mentioning Melotti Media, Melotti Media are engaging in it, so now we haven't just got the eyes from Font and Swatch, we've actually got the eyes from Melotti Media. So we've doubled.
What did someone say? I was at a conference and they said, get on the train.
Yeah.
They said, because it is an algorithm train, right?
Yeah, it is, absolutely.
And it doesn't, not just online, it's, one sees, many see.
Yes,
absolutely. The other thing that I think is important that we sometimes, when it comes to strategic partnerships that we don't think of, is the partnership with the customer or with the client, and that needs to be strategic because they also, if you do a good job, which we're all very good at what we do, then say and then they refer business and they say, hey, we got working, but you just don't know what develops from that working relationship, which is technically a strategic partnership with your customer and your client.
So to summarise, I think there's 4 points. One is you look for strategic partnerships that are either complementary to your existing service. You look for strategic partnerships that are further along the customer journey, before or after. Yes. You look for strategic partnerships that can actually boost brand awareness. So you're actually pushing out complementary and reaching your partner's customers as well as your own. And the fourth one was, Leanne, you're going to have to remind me.
Customer networks.
Customer networks. So it's actually engaging with the customer and building that long-term relationship with them.
I love it.
Good to go.
Really great.
Thank you very much. Demand drivers.